The roadshow is focusing on financial institutions and directors and officers' exposures and insurance. That market is naturally a global, international market. The US class actions and claims against directors obviously are an enormous source of claims against directors and relevant for the D&O insurance industry. The trends are global. We all deal across the Clyde Co offices globally with exactly the same issues and trends, although local issues for us in Asia and elsewhere as well. So we have a number of speakers from the US, the UK, Australia, Singapore and the Middle East joining us here in Hong Kong for the roadshow to give a global perspective, both the global trends, but also obviously drilling down to the more local and regional issues. Hong Kong, and I think regionally, in fact perhaps globally, certainly regionally, it's a relatively benign claims market. There are still a lot of regulatory investigations. We've talked about all those issues in previous years. What we focused on today are potential movements, in a sense, in the market regionally. So we talked about weighted voting rights I should say late last year. Obviously, the SFC effectively said no to dual class voting structures for listed companies in Hong Kong. Alibaba prompted that analysis by the SFC and the stock exchange. Alibaba listed in the States rather than Hong Kong because the dual class structure is not available here. Singapore has recently changed its company's law to permit dual class structures. That is, the minority originating shareholders retain control by super voting rights, in effect. So there's a possibility, for example, in Singapore, that it will jump ahead of Hong Kong by adopting the Companies Act change recently, and perhaps in the near future permitting listed companies with different share class structures. Hong Kong at present has determined that will not move forward. Singapore may take that opportunity. The directors and officers obviously have increasing exposures globally and certainly across the region. Hong Kong has had some major changes to the companies legislation and also the listing rules, together with the code of corporate governance that listed companies need to comply with. So it's all about obviously complying with the structures that are obviously in place, particularly for large and listed companies, and also applying good governance principles, ensuring that obviously consideration is given to the exposure which may be created by corporate decisions.